Hey, it's been a minute, and I was looking through videos today and realized that it's been 10 months since I did my last video, and I was like, holy cow, I can't believe it's been that long. Got a little busy at work and um, life, and things turned upside down, and I kind of just let things go by the wayside, and that's not right. So, I apologize for that. But here we are, and it's kind of appropriate for the subject matter because um, basically um, I've been struggling a little here and there, and part of that is allowing myself to get busy. And I talked about this before in one of the earlier weeks, where you get so busy that you forget your prayer life, and um, and that's critical. And you get busy with other stuff and distractions, and it pulls you away from God, and then Satan really comes in on the attack and really tries to tear you down. So that's one of the biggest tools for faith, I think, is time management, making sure you have your alone time with God, making sure you have your time studying the Word, and putting that armor on. Um, it's really it's critical. I mean, if you're not putting your armor on every day, then you're just leaving yourself open to attack. Um, a couple other things I want to talk about. It's along the same lines. It's basically you can't serve two masters. You can only serve one, and that master has to be God first. I mean, we have other things, other responsibilities, but it's God's always got to be first. A lot of people sit and wonder, and why isn't God answering my prayer? Why don't I hear God anymore? Um, are you making Him first? Are you making it a priority to sit down and talk with Him, and and sit down and listen? Uh, it's kind of crazy how we get away from listening for God, and then we're sitting there like, why don't I hear His voice? Oh, because I'm not listening. I'm not searching Him out, and the way I should be. And I've been guilty of that, pretty guilty of that for a while now. I'm trying to get it turned around. Um, Had a bit of a rough day today, so it's a good opportunity to fast, do some prayer, and you know what, everything turns around because you just feel that peace come over you, and it's a peace like only He can give. You know what I'm saying? I know you know what I'm saying. If you don't, then take the time to just talk to Him and say, God, if You're there, show me. I mean, if you don't have Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, now's the time to explore it. The stuff that's going on in the world right now it's all prophesied. I mean, think about the last 10 years and how much the world has changed. And in the last 5 years, how much has just turned upside down and our values have completely changed. Um, I said that's the other thing that can attack your faith that I want to talk about, because so I've always been an advocate of love the sinner, hate the sin. Sometimes it's a fine line to walk. I think we're so tolerant of sin that we're almost encouraging it sometimes. And when we do that, we're disobedient. And I've been guilty of it, trying to, not hurt someone's feelings. Again, it's a fine line to walk. So, this isn't set in judgment. This is of anyone but myself, really. But, I mean, you really got to be careful how far you go when you're loving someone into the kingdom, that you're not also encouraging their behavior. And I think I've done that sometimes. Um, the best I can do is pray for forgiveness and ask for the words next time. Uh, but as we go on this journey in faith, I mean, that's really the most critical thing is prayer. Um, Talking to God. I mean, how does he know that you have faith in him unless you tell him? Of course, God knows everything, but still, we're meant to be social creatures. We're meant to socialize with God, to worship him, to talk with him, to ask him where he wants us to go. And if we're not taking the time to talk to him, then we don't know. Um, I mean, you can do your best guess, and that's about it. So I think part of that is sometimes we have our own sin from previous, um, or even if we backslid a little. I'm a prodigal. I backslid a lot. I'm a major prodigal. And sometimes it's easier to justify what we tolerate um, because we don't want to be reminded or feel hypocritical. But Bible judge rightly, and that means judging sin for what it is. Sin is sin. Whether you're stealing from somebody, whether it's lust, or whether you're just tolerating somebody else's sin, and it's like just thinking, well, everybody does it. See, that's the problem. Is we're living in the times of Noah, and the more we tolerate sin, the more it attacks our faith, and it draws us further from God in a time when it couldn't be more critical. Um, this stuff that's coming forth in prophecy right now and for the last 5-10 years is crazy. How it's almost directly out of Ezekiel, Daniel, Revelation. And you've probably heard me say this before. Um, the Bible even talks about that. It says that everyone will say that it is as it always has been, and that's kind of true, but not lately. Like it's ramping up. It's picking up speed. Um, Both of the things that we tolerate, encourage, in the media, etc. What's right, what's wrong. Um, Christians under attack, and being killed all over the place, and you just don't hear it on the news, which is ridiculous. Um, and I don't believe anyone should die, but I think that when a mosque gets more attention than Christians getting killed, I think and it's just being ignored, because they're killed by the thousands every day, and not that I wish death on anyone, but I think it's sad that we're ignoring that fact. I mean, it's huge. So I'm kind of getting back in the swing into things. So I'm all over the place, and I really didn't do an outline. I just really felt the need to sit down and get this out. Um, I think when I do these, I feel a connection with God that I kind of missed for a while, and I'm kind of glad to get back to it. And I appreciate y'all bearing with me as I just kind of babble. So there'll be some tidbits in here, and I'll get back on it, and we'll be a little more organized, and we'll get some good stuff out here. And but I think that's kind of the point of this week is don't let yourself get distracted. Don't serve two masters. Um, Again, love the sinner, hate the sin. Don't compromise. Don't sell out God because you're afraid of offending someone. Um, Everybody says use you as an example, but that's exactly what he did. I mean, he called them vipers. He turned over tables. He offended in the name of God. And not that he was violent towards anyone. Um, well, I guess you could call it violent. Turn over tables and chasing them out of the temple. because that's his father's house. There's a difference between meek and weak. That's also a fine line. So you can be strong and be meek at the same time. In fact, it's harder than being strong or just being weak and walking away and, putting your head in the sand and, you're not supposed to be doing it. Or if you don't care that you're doing it, I mean, you've lost base. I mean, turn around and, spend some base time with God. And, but anyways, peace out, guys. I love you. We'll go back to something with a little more sustenance and, a little more organization soon. But I just wanted to sit down and connect today. God bless.